on the punchline with Kelly Palick and James Dominguez, and I'm about to go over and scissor kick our producer Justin.
Yes.
Whatever the thing was on the Fire Stick.
We're talking about fire sticking,
yeah. And it happens on Fire Sticks.
Man, but it depends who does the programming. I think Justin would do a good job on it.
He did it, man.
Justin hasn't got me my Fire Stick yet.
Anyways,
I just shut my cable off too, because you know what? I don't need
you
it.
get those rabbit ears at Best Buy.
Yeah,
no, seriously, didn't you say? Don't they have that if you got the Fire Stick?
Well, you get the good ones, the good HD ones.
Mm-hmm. Like $40 a month, and you get $80
and $100. You get like 45 channels.
Oh yeah, but
that's what you need.
You know what? I just use the apps. Like I've been watching that Haunted Hill House on Netflix. That's scary as fuck, dude. Have you watched that shit yet?
I actually heard about it. I seen previews or something.
Bro, dude,
if you guys want to tune in to this and chirp in,
bro,
go ahead.
Nobody's watching this today. It's the World Series is on.
Who cares about the World Series? Two shitty teams.
You take that shit back. We're talking about the Dodgers, man. I'm a Dodgers fan.
Oh God.
What the hell, man? Why would you say?
Better when they're in Brooklyn.
What's up, Esteban?
Yeah.
Hey,
I got to hang out with Tommy Lasorda at the American Italian Hall of Fame.
That's a loud motherfucker there.
And imagine being sitting between him, Mancini, and Vinny Pazienza.
Jesus, because Vinny never shuts the fuck up, does he?
But let me tell you, Tommy Lasorda had some funny. He was a funny man, and the stories he had, and it's Tommy Lasorda, so you got to listen to everything.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you got Vinny Paz. Hey, bleed through this.
That's when he was doing his book too.
Oh yeah, sir. Just talking about the show Big Mouth. You didn't like it, did you? The cartoon Big Mouth?
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, there's some funny parts in it.
Dude, those hormone monsters were the best, man.
Yeah, but the funny parts were like far in between, but they were funny.
Well, you got to get a bit more into it, dude. You got to watch that Haunted Hill House. That shit, bro.
Get my kids to watch.
Don't get them to watch that.
That'd be great,
bro. I was fucking. You know, I was watching. I was fucking paralyzed. It's like holy shit. Yeah.
I'm not even gonna tell them that it's scary.
Oh, it's 10. It's a 10-part series. The Haunted Hill House is. Our episode.
Is it based on a true story?
Yes. But, the Hill House in Boston. But this fucking shit is, and it has a good plot line too. It's really good. But I was reading on YouTube, some people were vomiting and shit. It scared them so bad. People were vomiting, and people haven't slept for a couple days.
That's just their cross promotion. They just get on there and pay people to say that shit.
I think, yeah, but I don't know. It left me pretty scared, and I've seen some pretty fucked up shit in my day. I turned my light on.
We'll leave a light on for you.
This was not a paid advertisement by the Haunted Hill House or Netflix.
But Haunted Hill House, if you will let me come and get a free tour tonight,
I would go.
I want to get, you know what I want to do?
What?
I want to get a TV show and call it The Real Ghost Hunters.
Yeah. The real Ghost Hunters.
Yeah. Yeah, but the real Ghost Hunters.
The real.
Because obviously the nickname was a ghost, and I like that shit. I get into it. I think that'd be fun.
Did you? So,
you got to pitch that to a network.
What's that? We got to pitch it.
Pitch it to a network.
We need to go to do a real haunted house like the prison. We need to go to the Mansfield prison where they did Shawshank Redemption
and have the real okay from a realtor,
and not leave your DNA behind. What about that?
Yeah.
What about that haunted house in Cleveland? That castle one that's.
But you can't have one where a lot of people are traveling through. You won't catch shit that way.
Nah, right?
Oh, I know Conneaut Lake. No, I know that. I'm talking about like the mansion in Mansfield.
Yeah, that's where they filmed Shawshank Redemption at.
Yeah.
That prison. But any good fights this week, huh? We had some good ones.
Yeah, you had Andrade.
How do you say his name? Is it Andrade or Andrade? I've heard two people saying it different. But either way, he looked really fucking good.
He did actually.
You know what?
And that dude was, he was caught off guard by the height of that fucking guy. I guess from what I heard, I don't know how true it is. Like they didn't know that this dude was going to be that tall. I guess they were expecting the entire time that
they said he was 6 foot, right?
Yeah,
He down there was like 6'3".
He was like an inch and a half taller than Andrade.
Yeah, Andre was only 6 foot. This dude was.
That's what I'm saying.
That dude, and he was tough.
And them Africans and Colombians, man, them two fuckers could hit.
Yeah, and Esteban says here, Charlo's going to fight William Monroe. I told you. Charlo is always going to look for the easier fights. The Charlos do. Willie Monroe's been damaged goods since Triple G beat him up. You know what I mean?
Yep. All right.
Hi, Ashley.
But listen, you guys know that I'm not like sold on Charlo yet. But you're saying it as if like Charlo is the one that made that entire decision.
No, he didn't.
He didn't make that decision, so you can't hate on him for that.
Ashley, I'm going to be in Albuquerque on the 6th to the 9th. But yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right that it's not only Charlo's fault. But I think as a fighter, he has that ability to say, hey, you know what? Let's look for somebody a little tougher.
He does, but at the end of the day, he still... Is that true, James? Spence is fighting Luis Collazo?
I have heard that, yes.
Luis Collazo been done for...
Collazo... Yeah, but he's had some good wins coming back, but he's not. He's old, man. He's got to be 36 years old. No offense. I'm just saying as a fighter. Oh, yeah. In fighter years, he's old. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What does it say?
Fuck, I'm 41. Can you imagine how old that is?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how good of a fight that is. Even if I don't care how good he's doing on his way to comeback. Yeah. Spence, you should be looking for a big fight now. I mean, if you're not fighting... Because that's where you're going to start losing the respect. And I shouldn't say him.
Hi, Shayna.
That's where you're going to lose the respect from a lot of fans, too. Or you're going to give people reason to talk shit.
Jeff, no, it's not confirmed yet. But it's just a matter of time. Heyman and they don't confirm to the last minute. They're one of those, because they leave openings for people in and out, to make a better deal. They're one of the same promotion groups that it takes a long time for them to confirm. Them and Eddie Hearn, they don't confirm right away, Golden Boy and Top Rank, those dudes confirm on the minute, Hey, we got to fight. Okay, confirm it, Yeah. I like the way they do business. But you know what, though? I mean, this is what Heyman's done lately. They've been carefully matching these fighters. I mean, it just, not everybody can fight stars every week, you know what I mean? But you know what's funny? The same people.
The Top Rank does the best at. I'm not just saying that. Golden Boy does a fairly good job too, as you see.
But you know what's funny? The same people that shit on guys like Crawford, or shit on guys like Mikey, or shit on some of these other guys, Leo Santa Cruz or whatever. They don't say shit when Charlo fights somebody like that, or they don't say shit then. Or when Errol Spence fights somebody, they don't say a fucking thing.
And you know what? And I don't care. It's 100% fact.
They don't say shit. Oh, well, he needs an easy fight. For what? Because Errol Spence's last fight wasn't hard? You know what I mean?
It's so one-sided that it's actually fucking sickening anymore. But, I was thinking a good fight, though, I think, for both of them, because Jacobs really hasn't been active.
Well, he's fighting Derevyanchenko, right?
Yeah. But I think a good fight would be him and Andrade.
I think it'd be a great fight.
I think it's time. For Andrade to make that move. Now, obviously, I feel Billy Saunders has a lot to do still in the middleweight with the setback.
Overdose in the middleweight. I don't know, man.
I still don't even know the whole story with the the drug or whatever it was.
Yeah, I've heard so many different things. You don't know which is fact or fiction anymore. You know what I mean?
But good chance those guys aren't ready to step in with stiff competition. Yeah, but it's coming to a point they are the other big names in that weight class, so they're going to have to make a move. Like I said, Jacobs is not really. When I say this, I think he is, but he's not being mentioned as like the Canelo or Triple G now. So that is kind of like the fight that you would want to take if you're Andrade, though, or you know what I mean, like I don't know. It's just hard. It's weird on that situation on that. If you break it down.
No, I agree with you on that.
Because there's really nobody else out there for these guys to keep fighting. Yeah, and they're throwing these guys' names out there with the Jacobs,
Yeah.
with the Canelo, with the Triple G. The other two names you hear is Charlo, Billy Joe Saunders, Andrade. That's all you keep hearing with the other champions. So it's kind of like the welterweight thing, you know. It's kind of a lot of competition going on. Right
And you know the thing is, too, 154 and 160 so close. You have all those guys that can move in and out. I mean, you have Hurd, who's every bit of
the
a
junior
super
middleweights are bigger than the middleweights.
Well, I heard Canelo was talking about staying at 68 now.
Oh.
Because he's fighting at 68. This fight with that fucking giant. I don't think he does. I think he'll stay at 60. But he said he wouldn't mind staying at 68. He's a big guy. Why not?
I know. I'm just saying. I don't think
There's no one in 68. There's no one in there other than Benavidez. I think he can beat Benavidez.
Well, what happened to the other one though?
Which one?
The big Mexican.
He's 75.
Oh, he went up then?
Yeah, he's 75.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he's 75.
I didn't hear that through the grapevine.
Do you think Derevchenko has a chance for an upset? Oh, absolutely. He does. I think anybody at that level has a chance for an upset. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the thing with Danny Jacobs, I think he's the most talented middleweight in the world. I really do. But I think that Danny Jacobs has a bad habit of fighting to the level of his competition. And you when you dance with the devil too long, eventually you're gonna have to pay him. You know what I mean?
I would consider that a flaw.
Yes, it is.
And if the Danny Jacobs that knows how to fight for the spurts that he does, and phenomenally he does it. I don't see too many middleweights beating him. No. I mean, you've seen what he did with the younger Triple G when he was fighting him, and it was like after the knockdown and after he kind of took a couple shots and was like, "Screw this, you know, I could win this fight."
That knockdown was funny though. Remember his legs were kicking in the air?
Yeah, I remember just the ears flapping. I thought he would actually elevate off the ground back up to his feet. But you know, if he did that with Triple G, I mean, this guy Danny Jacobs is legit. Like you said. Just too many. He takes too much time off, and he gets lazy, and he don't fight to his potential.
No, he takes time. He takes rounds off.
Exactly.
Damon says Derevchenko is tough. I agree with Damon. Yeah, he is tough. But those weight classes, that 54 and that 60, even 68, these guys can cross with each other. And those guys, they're probably the most talented weight classes. I would say the welterweight division, but they're not fighting each other. They're doing everything but fight each other.
But I think it's so loaded. There's still interesting matchups at that weight, at 47 now.
Yeah.
Damon, Andrade is a non-factor, even though he's WBO champ. Now he spends a lot of time inactive. He can box. He's fun, but in my opinion, he likes to lay back. Yeah, and I'm still, even with this fight here, I don't know too much on his opponent that he fought. I'm not 100% sold on Andrade either. I don't think he's, in my personal opinion, I don't think he's a top middleweight, but he's got the belt and he's a guy that's winning. So obviously, you know, it's going to be interesting to watch him fight the other guys.
Yes. Gary said, "What's good, Kelly and James? Your thoughts on Con Brook? I think Con is a pussy. He would be a massive fight in the UK. I think Con fucks up Kell Brook.
I absolutely do too. And I don't think Kell Brook even got enough power to hit that glass chin of a Con. Again, we talked about this last week a little bit.
Yeah.
I think Con is absolutely one of the best fighters in boxing, talent-wise. You know, and we'll go back on it again. Even the fights that he got knocked out in, he was winning the boxing match.
Yeah.
He could fight. The guy has probably got the fastest hands in boxing and one of the best offensive fighters. And his defense is actually pretty good. The only thing is that he does leave himself open.
He gets lazy.
Yeah, he gets lazy and he gets caught. So to say that, Gary, I don't think that's a
fair assessment
at all.
Yeah, Damon says Zurdo and Canelo is fire. I think that'd be a good fight. I think Zurdo might just be a little too big. Do you know what I mean? But he is slow. Zurdo is slow and really one-dimensional.
I said that. That's why I thought Benavidez beats him.
But I think Canelo beat Benavidez.
You said Zurdo moved up.
He moved up.
So why would that Canelo fight?
Well, I don't know if Damon knew he moved up yet.
Yeah, see, maybe he didn't hear like I did.
Yeah. Steven said, I was in the gym Saturday with Derevchenko. He is on weight looking sharp. That's good, Steven. That's what we have Steven around for, because he's up on that kind of thing. You know, we're not. That's good, though. I mean, they should be ready for it. Just doesn't look like how it go in their personal life out of the ring. You know, Jeff, yeah, I would agree. You know, their personal life, I'm not real big on talking about fighters' personal life, but I will tell you it makes a difference when it comes to fights. It does take a toll on you. You're going out drinking, you partying, you're out fighting, you're getting arrested. You know, it does take a toll on you.
streets.
Andrade's not busy enough. No, Steve, you know what? He's not busy enough, but he's a counterpuncher. That's the way he fights. When you punch at a guy like Andrade, he will make you pay every time you punch at him.
But I've seen some things that Andrade does wrong. That's why I was saying when he was supposed to fight Billy Joe Saunders.
Yeah.
I know it sounds crazy. I was kind of leaning with Billy Joe Saunders because I think Billy Joe had at that time a little better competition, and he just looked a little more fluent.
Yeah.
But Andrade's long. He's a good fighter, and again, going on that, that's why I think it's good for that weight class right now. I want to see him fight Danny Jacobs. I think that'd be a good fight. Danny Jacobs is really not doing much.
Yeah.
And nobody's talking of Danny Jacobs, Triple G again, or Canelo.
Well, no, absolutely.
So
Billy Joe Saunders is a much better boxer.
Yeah, but I think for right now, though, I think Billy Joe Saunders is out of the question of anything in the next at least year. So give Andrade and Danny Jacobs that fight, and I think the fans would want to see that fight. I think that would be great.
Scott says, cheers. Hey, Scott. Damon said, Benavidez might piece Canelo up. That boy has some slick hands and feet. Damon, on that fight, I'd have to go 50-50 on that fight. I don't think it would be easier for either one of them.
I don't think it would be easy for Benavidez, but I see Benavidez winning that fight unanimously. I think that he'll take some of the early rounds when Canelo's trying to figure out his length.
They're both counterpunchers, which makes it really...
But Benavidez is just a big boy, and who's used to being at a heavier weight from a young age. Yeah. And he's just so much taller and bigger, and he has fairly good skill. He's gonna. I just think Benavidez is too much for him in that fight, and especially the fact that he's going to be in against a bigger body and getting hit and taking them shots and getting pushed around. And Canelo tires later in the fight. He'll definitely tire quicker against.
My thing is this: Benavidez has shown he's been hurt multiple times by guys that aren't punchers like Canelo. What happens when a volume puncher with Canelo, who has that kind of power?
But you're talking about Canelo, who literally has 2 fights at middleweight, and now he's jumping to super middleweight against a 6 foot.
He's fought multiple fights at middleweight.
Okay, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was a junior middleweight.
He comes in at 75-80 though, fight time.
But he's going to be fighting a 6'2" kid that's making weight, having a hard time making 168 probably, or fighting to make 168.
You mean like this guy?
It's going to be a difference. With Benavidez.
Yeah.
I think Benavidez wins that fight.
King, William Thompson says Benavidez might be too big and too busy. I don't know if you're going to out busy Canelo.
Oh, I don't think Canelo he took time off. That's what hurt him against Triple G. Yeah. And that's where I'll admit that I was wrong. I thought Triple G faded more and got muscle weary in the middle rounds. But the 2 fights in a row, Canelo was the one that faded in the later rounds and got tired.
Yeah. Ruben says, I think this is a good warm-up for Canelo, and it's not going to be easy, but it will be going to help easiest fights weight class. Yeah, I would agree, and but I don't think it's going to be easy. I don't think any fight's easy at that level. Everything hurts, everything's snappy. I mean, fuck. But it's easy. It's a nice $33.1 million payday, though, isn't it? $33.1 million.
Tap on that too.
We will. We'll tap on that. Yeah. But $33.1 million for one fight?
It's not a bad night.
That is not a bad night. That's almost enough for you to get out of bed and start running again, isn't it?
I won't go to work Monday morning.
It's almost enough for you to get out of bed, huh? Start running again for $33 million?
$33 million, yes.
33.1?
Absolutely.
They say, Kelly, you're going to fight Usyk for $33.1
million.
Dude,
I bet you Floyd Mayweather will get out and go fight again for $33.1 million.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Or he'd give a serious thought.
I don't know. He's a $100 million guy.
Give him about another year and a half, 2 years.
Oh, yeah. He'll fight. he'll be fighting for $500,000 in Dakota Springs, Oklahoma. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, Jeff. DAZN is strictly live streaming. It's an app. I like it. I don't have anything. And Damon, you're right. That is a Ukraine-backed night. You know what I mean? We talked about that earlier with it's all kind of playing out. The owner of DAZN is Ukrainian. And they always wonder where that silent investor has come in for like Usyk.
Why is this?
Well, they always talk about that silent investor, the silent partner that's for Lomachenko and Usyk, and they never say his name. I can guarantee you that's who it is.
Russian mob.
There we go.
This is
Ukrainian
true.
mob.
And why is this you say this? Explain.
Shit. They killed
How you
Linkovic. They
say-
killed a boxer a few years ago. The Russian mob did.
How you say you wants to fight for the WSBC?
WBC. WCB? I fucking bad.
They're gonna leave shit on your doorstep for doing bad impressions.
That's why I always say two things. Why is this?
Why is this?
That sounds good enough right there.
Why is this? These box, Max. It's box.
I thought Pavlik. I didn't know Pavlik wasn't Ukrainian and it was Slovak.
That Steve, you know what? I agree, but
My ancestry.com didn't do good.
I agree. And if I didn't personally like Sergio Mora, which I personally do, he's a nice guy. We've met him in person. But I think I don't know.
Where does Sergio Moore come up?
Oh, we talking about the announcers are getting better. I said, well, the announcers need help. I think that's, you know what I mean?
They need me on there.
That'd be good, man.
Even though I trip over my bottom lip, I'd be all right.
You know who you would sound like? Freddie Pacheco. Remember him? He tripped over his bottom lip for years.
I want to do it like Sylvester Stallone. Well, you know,
So you want to do Mancini then?
no, Sylvester Stallone. Quit! You're such a fucking instigator. Hey,
What?
you know, there's two different. They talk two different ways. Like one's real fast, and the other is, hey, you know, like the guy's out there. You know, he's taking the punches. As Mickey would tell me, you know, hey, don't hear no bell.
Damon said, how about Cindy Serrano's husband yelling at Katie Taylor? She picked the weak Serrano during the fight. You know what? You're absolutely right. I think it's bullshit that Cindy Serrano's husband had to yell at Katie Taylor. It's not Katie Taylor's fault that she beat the shit out of Cindy Serrano. That's what she did with her job. Katie Taylor looked really good. Did you see that fight?
I'd rather be talking about Katy Perry.
Did you see the fight?
No, I didn't.
Katie Taylor looked really fucking good, man. And she would have beat her sister Amanda Serrano too.
Saturday night, I had other things going on, like watching the Buckeyes get their ass whooped.
It wasn't even worth that. I would watch Katie Taylor. Yeah, see, Sergio Kobazev was killed by the Russian mob. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, they found his money in his bank still, and his body they had in a fucking buried him in a shallow grave.
You pick on my accent. Why is this?
I like the Jeff
That's not
said.
bad though.
Jeff said I like the idea of DAZN for monthly subscription, but it doesn't work very good out in this part of the world. I prefer to watch it on TV. You know, we do watch it on TV, but I haven't had any problem with the app yet. It might be your guys' Wi-Fi, you know, because I haven't had any issues.
I don't got no problem with the
DAZN.
Yeah, I don't. I watch it on my phone.
No, but I was happy with Katie Taylor's performance. I thought she looked really good in that fight.
I still want Katy Perry.
I know. I'd rather deal with Katie Taylor.
Well, it got quiet there.
Oh yeah, but
More, he's pretty. That'd be Amy.
yeah, it is. She's over there. She's
She's
over
all
there.
about that dude.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, but let's go into the, you know, with that the zone DAZN. People are bitching about that. I think it's absolutely a very cool thing what they're doing, and I think it's really good for the sport. I mean, go back to the ESPN app. What did they say? How many? 8 million?
7.4 million
7.48 million
for the Crawford fight.
Yeah. I mean,
Subscriptions, not viewers.
you're
Subscriptions.
saying. I mean, it's kind of like nobody's happy at all. I mean, you know, everybody pitches a bitch with HBO being, you know, $70 and $80, and of course, you know, for a mega fight,
Yeah.
$100, and yeah, and everybody's complaining about that. And then you got somebody coming to a media outlet saying, "Hey,
We'll give you the fight for
$4.99 a month, $5 a month," or ESPN was $7
Yeah,
a
$7.
month.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, absolutely.
The same people
In one night.
that bitch about having this DAZN, they'll pay $84.99 for a fucking boxing match in high definition.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so I mean, like, I think it's absolutely great for the sport, and again, you know, that's why DAZN is doing such big numbers, because
It's
people are
affordable.
tuning in.
It's affordable.
Yeah, and I know people are complaining about it, but at the same time, the people that are complaining, I know that on their phone somewhere they got a DAZN app. You know?
Well, and it also covers MMA, which there's a lot of MMA fans out there. You
Oh,
know,
yeah, definitely.
It covers Bellator, and Shit, that's awesome, man. And you could even go back on old fights throughout history and watch them. I like that.
And you can do that with the ESPN
and
app.
the ESPN app, I can go back and watch all the 30 for 30s. I like it, man. I don't have any complaints. And people that are bitching about it, they either don't have the app or they're trying to hold out. They need to get on board that train because it's leaving the station.
Okay, yeah, and Ruben just said, he goes, it's only $120 a year. I subscribe to Showtime and HBO just to watch boxing, so I save money on the app by dropping both HBO and Showtime. Yeah, and guess what? And when there ain't no good boxing fights on Showtime and HBO, which I'm going to have to get rid of my HBO now and probably Showtime.
Game of Thrones, fool!
But
Game of
I'm
Thrones!
not into that yet.
Oh.
Do that, Fire Stick.
I don't have Yeah.
You're on an AT&T plan.
You get HBO free.
You'll get, just go into your AT&T plan and have them review your contract. You'll get HBO free.
Yeah, it's free.
It's free.
Even on Time or on Armstrong?
Yeah, you do it through AT&T. It'll be through AT&T. Because you have the direct TV now.
DA's Inc. has been entertaining
but
so
for my
far, even
cable
though
at
it
home
didn't
is
look that
Armstrong.
great on paper.
Watch HBO on your Fire Stick.
I agree, Darren. And,
I'm
I
going to have
think
to figure out Fire Stick.
that's the whole thing with DAZN.
Okay.
That's the whole thing with DAZN is they're trying to put out better fights. They're trying to put Showtime and these other people out of business.
You know what? Showtime is doing too good right now, though, and people are still going to watch. People are comfortable watching Showtime.
Yeah.
But for the most part of it, though, these apps, listen, it's genius. You got to understand, man. It's 2018, and things are changing, and technology is changing.
Yes.
And everything is mobile, and you know what I mean. And technology is just more advanced.
Yeah.
These apps, you're going to see more apps, and eventually, you know what, you are going to see the end of Showtime. Eventually, Showtime, I think, is got a good backing of fights though for a little while. But I mean, these are great. You can't beat them.
Melissa says, I was a holdout, but this week you convinced me to describe the DAZN and ESPN. Times are changing. And, it's going to... Can you imagine years ago when HBO entered boxing and people quit watching, like, the Pabst Blue Ribbon Friday night, and they were bitching, I'll never watch it on that damn HBO. Them crooks, you know what I mean? That's what they were doing. And then, like, I can't believe boxing went to cable television and left us on ABC and CBS. You know what I mean? And your parents bitched? Yeah, and then remember that, and it was wasn't it like a wooden box, little buttons that went click, click?
And I had to go to my grandma's to watch HBO fights.
Yeah, one was Showtime. You didn't have no Showtime East, West, South, North, Cambodia. One.
I liked it better like that, though, because I got 7 of them when they don't play shit on any of them.
Left CBS and ABC back in the day, and they went to cable. They're like, oh, I'll never watch that fucking USA Tuesday night fight bullshit. But
I love USA.
Oh, dude, USA was I look forward to every Tuesday night, didn't you, at 9 o'clock?
That Blue Horizon, man. Constantly have fights there.
Dude, you know who else was real big too? Foxwoods was real big for Tuesday night fights, and the Grand Olympic in the Olympic that was not. You know what? When that was the one. What was the one on? The one in California. I'm trying to think of that channel. It was Inglewood. They always had Inglewood, the forearm fights. Remember that? Budweiser.
You talking about the network though?
Yeah, the Budweiser fights. Remember they always showed on USA. They would show the Budweiser fights, and it would be like Inglewood or the Olympic.
USA was always they had it there, but more so than not, it was usually at the Blue Horizon.
Yeah. Hey, Virgil's on. What's up, Virgil? CBS Wild World, the sports used to throw remember?
Yeah.
The CBS, you're watching like Leonard and Hearns, and then you'd watch Orlando Canizales.
Yeah, did they come back on recently or try to put it back on for a short period of time?
Errol Spence was on a CBS fight.
Yeah, or they're not doing it no more though, huh?
I think they are. I think every once in a while, I think they only have like a 12-fight deal with
Like 6 months ago or something?
Yeah.
They've probably seen all these apps out. And
they had a couple a month apart. They had one was it like March and April or something?
Yeah.
Darren said the only
downside. I mean, that could be big.
Darren said the only downside I fear is more politics and fights getting made. Joshua and Wilder may be much harder to make. Does anybody care about Joshua or Wilder anymore?
I'm over it.
Nobody cares. I don't think Wilder. I mean, I don't know. Wilder's fighting Fury, and I'm probably happier with that fight right now. Is Wilder and Fury?
I think it's more interesting. To be honest with you.
Boxers do become household names, and that was it. If it wasn't for those local channels and those basic cable channels, we wouldn't know half the boxers. Do you remember watching like Kennedy McKinney and Junior Jones and Kevin Kelly? Remember those guys? We'd watch all those guys.
Rivera said, Oscar said that is for the pay-per-view.
And I agree. I have to agree with him.
What is the
A pay-per-view's done, man.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, no, like trying to break it down a little bit. I'm sure my numbers are nowhere near close, but think about it. You buy a fight for just say so fight.
Yeah.
You buy it for on average $60,
Yes.
or even just say 70. And say you get a good fight, a good turnout, and you get 1.3, 1.2 million buys. But on the flip side, you're getting 2 million subscribers at $10, if not more, over a period of time. As you've seen, the Crawford fight had 7 to 8 million people watching it, so that means they subscribed. That right there, you're doubling what you would have on pay-per-view. Why wouldn't you?
Yep. Christian, last week was Technical Tuesday. We try to do one once a month, the Technical Tuesdays. We did one last Tuesday. Emerald said, we want Crawford versus Mikey Garcia. Can you explain why that fight probably not going to happen? Because we talk about it almost every episode. Why we will not see Mikey and Lomachenko and Mikey and Crawford and basically Mikey versus any top-ranked guy.
Promoters, they don't.
It's promoters, man.
Top rank don't want anything to do with it, with Mikey, unfortunately.
And what had happened, guys, if you don't know, when Mikey took his 2-year hiatus, he was a top-ranked fighter. He didn't like the contract he had. Some bad blood took place, and Mikey had sued to get out of his contract. Well, Mikey had won the court case and did get out of his contract after 2 years and $1 million of his own money spent. Well, it still has bad blood, and Top Rank don't want to deal with Mikey. But Top Rank will deal with any other fighter in Robert Garcia's stable, but they don't deal with Mikey. Hopefully that changes sometime soon. I think it will, because I think money is talking, you know what I mean?
Eventually it will. The demand for that fight will get so big that they will give into it.
And also, too, what we got to look at, too, a lot of people don't realize is Top Rank is probably one of the easier of the promoters to work with. Eventually, you know what I mean, they're going to put it aside. I think you'll see that fight, but I don't think you'll see Crawford and Mikey. I think you'll see Mikey and Lomachenko next year.
Probably the end of next year, too.
I heard Robert on LE video saying that it'll happen, and Aegis Klimas, Lomachenko's manager, and Robert were talking, like, right there. They both said they want the fight for 2019. So there's a good... Now, if we
That's got to be a great matchup, too. That will be.
Oh, man, I would sit there... Man, I'd be sitting there, like, with a hard pink thing waiting all day, wouldn't you?
Red rocket in flight.
Afternoon delight. Hey, Rebecca says, hey, guys. Hi, Rebecca. Kelly, do you train? Eddie Baird wants to know.
Like, to fight or boxing, or do I train people?
No, do you train? Yeah, I say, yeah, you lift lots of weights.
Yeah.
You throw a lot of weight
boxing training. Which Tuesday? We'll let you know on that, Christian. We'll give a heads up when we'll be doing it.
We're going to try to do more because there is there's kind of people do ask about the Technique Tuesdays. But when we do, we got to have kind of an outline of what we're doing, what we're teaching. And so that's where you guys got to come in to play. Let us know what you want to see before we do these Technique Tuesdays. Maybe inbox message the show and say, hey, we want to see this. We want you to break down this. Because it's a big goat. It's a goat fuck, man. Because we don't know, and it's hard for us. We don't see the questions,
You stand out there with one thumb in my mouth, one in my butt, waiting for somebody to blow a whistle and say switch.
Yeah, and then we need to bring somebody in to ask the questions because Justin's working on the show. He doesn't have time to answer questions and work the show.
Yeah.
We need to get a hot chick. See why we can't have shit. We can't have nice things here. We need to get a hot girl to come answer these questions for us that can read all of them.
We got Roy.
Roy will work. I like black chicks. I like black chicks.
Right?
What's up, Dylan?
Oh man.
I know. He said you called Pac-Man and Broner like I know, Dylan. I know. That's what we do. Let me tell you what we do on the show, Dylan. I'll give you guys a little secret. Me and Kelly, when we started this show, 2 years ago? Has it been 2 years? About. We said we didn't ever want to do a show where we do gossip. Do you know what I mean? Right. We don't want to have that kind of show. The reason we brought up a Broner and Pac-Man is because we heard about it months ago being made. Remember, Robert told us. We were told, I can say it now, Robert Garcia had told us that they were trying to make that fight. months ago. I just couldn't say who told me, or me or Kelly. So we just kind of
Yeah, and usually we get reliable sources, and even though it's still on that, listen, anything in boxing
it can change.
but
That's why we say we don't know.
But if we get it from a reliable source, we're gonna throw it out there.
Yeah, normally we won't just say something crazy because it looks bad for us if we say something that's not a fact or what we perceive to be a fact. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, so, Christian, hot boxing chicks. What?
Yes. So let's talk about the contract. Let's talk about Canelo's big contract.
I think it was quite amazing.
5 years, $360 million, and that doesn't even count the fight purses. They're saying with endorsements and purses, you're looking at over a $500 million contract.
It's crazy.
He's making $33 million a fight.
You know, that's my only thing looking at that is like how he had the wars with Triple G.
Yes.
He's already got over 50 pro fights.
Uh-huh.
I don't see. I mean, I just don't think that. I'm talking about his health.
28. That's what they're looking at.
Yeah, 28. I know. What they're looking at that from a business standpoint.
Yeah.
Now you just mentioned you're talking about around about $500,000.
Yeah.
Or $500 million going or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's a lot of money, and I understand that, but I think some things are going to come out of this. What I'm looking at now, I see him getting a lot of easy fights.
Yeah.
I don't see him going into war at, each fight, every fight.
No.
I don't see him fighting Danny Jacobs, turning around fighting Benavidez, and turning around fighting Spence, or however it's going to be.
But you can bet for that kind of money, they're going to want some quality. Do you know what I mean? They're going to want quality out of him. They're not going to allow an easy ride out of him.
But where I'm still going with this, he had 2 tough fights with Triple G at middleweight.
Yes. That
weight is a brutal punching weight. That's where it starts. That's where you put the little guys away, taking nothing away from the little guys, but it's just how it breaks down.
Yeah.
And that's when you're getting into the monster punchers. Okay. He had wars with Triple G. Triple G can't hit.
Yes.
We don't even know what these 2 fights has taken out.
That's what Jeff's saying. What happens if he takes a couple hard losses before the contract is up? I'm sure that there's contract clauses in there for certain things like that. No contract is foolproof in boxing. You know what I mean? If he doesn't, you can bet if he doesn't finish out his contract, he's paying a lot of that money back. That's going to,
Yeah.
I mean, but I don't know. It says, Eddie just messaged you, Kelly. Check your inbox. And Amanda said, my internet is slow. Looks like watching a Chinese show. Fix your internet, Amanda. I hope Broner don't end up like this, Mark Lawrence. Canelo at 168. I think just for this fight. I think he's kind of just testing the water, see where he could go. I don't know if he'll carry that power up with him though to that weight,
So I don't think it's a good idea. I don't know why he's doing that. I mean, I guess I can understand why.
Maybe he's tired of maybe he's worn out from cutting weight. Maybe just something a little easier on his body.
Maybe he's just trying to get that. He's getting the money. He's getting everything. Maybe he's just trying to get the extra weight class belts.
Why not?
Eddie, I got no message, homie. I didn't get any.
You probably got to check the punchline messenger.
We will later.
The punchline messenger. You got to check. I wonder how many decisions. Oh, this long one. Leon said, I wonder how many decisions will be even more political, though, now. Example, Canelo just signed 11-fight deal. Huge money. So how can fans expect the judges won't be somewhat persuaded behind the names to give 12-round decisions to long-term DAZN fighters like Canelo as long as they're standing? I can't see Canelo or Joshua losing any decisions now if they're standing after their fights, because if either loses, their stock will drop. Not good for anybody involved. So I hope I'm wrong, but I expect this to see increased politics from judges and the bigger name DZN fighters. You know what? I have to agree. They're going to protect their investment, but I'm hoping. What I would hope is the commissions would bring judges in that have more integrity than that. Do you know what I mean? That can't. Yeah. I mean,
because it'll come back down and start getting. But then boxing will get the black eye, and I don't think it's good.
Christian says, for Technical Tuesday, would be cool if you guys would talk about show and different box equipment, best brands, so many days to choose from. Oh shit, we love talking about good equipment.
But I don't even know exactly which are the best out there.
I do.
I don't think we should really
No, but stuff that we have liked, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Everybody's always worried about boxing equipment and boxing gear. You got to worry about what's underneath that shit first.
Shit.
Take
You know,
care of that.
I had some of my best fights with the shittiest equipment. You know what I mean? Training. Do you remember those old ringside gloves? The ones that had the Velcro that up here,
absolutely.
and your fucking hands would slip inside of them. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And they got heavy. The more you sweat, the heavier. Those gloves were what? 16s.
Oh, they used to
And
be
then-
heavy.
yeah,
they
they
get
were-
that sort of waterlogged.
Yeah,
slug.
they were 16, and before you were out there, they were 28 ounces.
Yeah.
And hey, and the punches they didn't land crisp anymore. They just did this. And
you hit somebody here.
but they did. They had that Velcro. They had that Velcro, and they had a sleeve that went over the top. You remember? And they were like,
Yeah.
they came in red or black. There was only two colors, weren't they? Dark red.
The ringside gloves were real big, especially local shows. Man.
Oh, yeah.
What was that? Late '90s? Early
Yeah,
2000s?
they had that rectangle, the long
Yeah.
rectangle that said ringside. I had a pair of those gloves, 8-ounce gloves.
But then they changed the R on it, like what 2005.
Yeah. Hey, I'll tell you one thing that really got me. Do you remember when you were little and we'd see Reyes, and then you go in and you imagine all your gloves had that Reyes oval on there?
I love that. I like that the small Reyes.
Yeah,
oval,
the
too.
small one, yes.
Yeah, I like that. And but the main thing overall was the oval.
Yeah.
And the white thumbs on the bottom.
Oh yeah, the white with the lambskin strip. That
And
lamb
who would have
strip.
known too? When I turned pro, you still had you had Everlast,
Yeah.
Ringside. Grant came when I first turned pro. Grant really wasn't big
They
at all.
were just starting to make their way in.
Yeah, and heard like the gloves that I grew up watching everybody fight on TV with. I used them my entire career.
Hi, Rachel. That's Rachel. You remember in your gym? You remember Andy? Andy
Yeah.
Ruiz. That's
Yeah.
that's
Oh, okay.
Andy's mom, Rachel.
Awesome.
Hi, Rachel. Andy, and that's Eric's sister-in-law. Remember Eric? Eric in the gym. That's Eric's sister-in-law too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember.
Yep.
Brandon, you guys' opinion, best pound for pound boxer right now?
I don't fuck. You know, either Crawford or Lomachenko.
That's it.
I would go Crawford. I would say Crawford myself. Kelly, I know you'll probably say Lomachenko, right?
Yeah, I'm still going with Lomachenko.
I'm gonna say Crawford. I think the winning gloves protect your hands more. Well, Ruben, they're built for that. Winning's made to rehab your hands or to not injure your hands.
So is Grant. Grant's
Grant
real
is
big
too.
with that too.
And winning's great, but
Toughwear was more of a amateur.
yeah, Toughwear was an amateur training glove.
It was used a lot in amateur boxing.
Yeah, because
actually.
Toughwear is shitty. It's a shitty fucking glove.
But like mid '90s, late '90s, I mean, a lot of internationals were wearing a
Top 10. We used top 10 on the
did,
internationals.
but
Do you remember
Toughwear
those?
was still, I
They
don't know
said
top 10.
they would say top 10. Those were
are
nice.
still, I think those are still relevant. In
Yeah,
amateur
those
boxing.
are. They used them on the Olympic team
Yeah.
in 96. 96 team all had
I'm
top
not sure,
10.
I can't remember that far back, but yeah, Toughwear.
Yeah.
That was more amateur, but still for amateurs, it was big.
Canelo, I have 3, Perry. I have Canelo Alvarez at 3rd in my pound for pound list.
A solid third too, and there was no argument. And listen, you could argue Canelo number 1. You can,
could.
and I wouldn't say you're crazy for that. I mean, because he could be mentioned number 1.
Yeah.
That's the thing about right now with the pound for pound, how I look at it. I don't know.
so close.
If you put somebody in there, I'm not going to say you're crazy for that unless you say you put somebody like Joshua.
Joshua, number 1.
Or Wilder, or you know what I mean, or Billy Joe Saunders. Then I'm going to, kind of like say, what the hell are you thinking?
Yeah.
But right now it's open.
Your opinion on his next fight? Canelo's, you know what, Perry? I really don't have an opinion because I don't even know his opponent. I know his opponent is. I just don't know who he is. I've never seen him fight before. I'm going to be honest. I'm not even going to front. I've never seen him fight. Have you? And
Dylan says, is there much difference in the 8-ounce fight gloves and 4-ounce UFC gloves?
not power-wise, no.
No, I seen the break. They had a big breakdown. before
Fight science
the
had
fight
it.
science for
It wasn't much.
Yeah, and it's pretty much accurate. And actually, if anything, the boxing fight glove,
Covers more area, so it hurts more.
It hurts more, does more damage.
But the reason, like with Reyes' glove, the reason you wore Reyes' glove, the only reason you wore Reyes was to fuck somebody up.
Yeah.
Because Reyes had horsehair in it, and it's a puncher's glove, and a lot of people, you know better than anybody, Kelly.
But that wasn't, honestly, that was at the beginning of my career. That was the reason. But at the middle of my career and even the end, maybe because I was just so used to wearing them, but I just love the way the gloves, because all
They
different
fit
makes
nice.
fit different, and them gloves just fit my hands So nice.
But-
and that makes a big difference, especially when you're going 36 minutes with.
Well, I always use Reyes, and you know what I liked about him was the thumb placement. The thumb sits different than other fighting
Yeah,
gloves.
it
Other
does.
gloves, the thumb sits down here. Reyes was sitting here.
Right
You remember
there,
that? Was
yep.
a little higher.
And there wasn't much tension on the pinky
Yep.
on the pinky side.
And if you went with a high guard, you could actually put the thumb notch against the corner of your eye. Do you remember that? On a Reyes glove, you could actually feel
I
it.
never really got that detailed.
I did. I got detailed in that. No, because you know what? When you're training, and you want to kind of not go into bad habits, I put my gloves against my face, and I always knew not to drop them. Do you know what I mean? And I knew if I put that thumb against the notches of my head, I was never dropping my hand because I was an amateur. I didn't want to make amateur mistakes.
Oh, did you try every glove?
No.
Brand and put that on.
No,
your
I had
eye?
Reyes. I just knew that they worked better for that. You know.
Okay. that was
I
funny.
just like Reyes, man.
Okay.
I just like
I
Reyes.
do honestly though. No, I Reyes is my top. Again, like I said, I just like the way my
Dylan
hands
said
are.
horsehair. Yes, the inside of Reyes at one time, I don't know if it is now. I think they are horsehair instead for the safety tech. They're not. But they use horsehair inside
Yeah,
of
they
there.
do. I've heard that.
Yeah.
What's up, Joel?
And what they would do, Joel, is they would take the gloves back in the 90s, like Barrera and Chavez and all them guys, the Mexicans, and they would push the glove back as far as they can up the arm, and it would leave their knuckles.
We did that
Yeah.
a lot, and the thing was, and you had the commission kind of started coming down on that.
Yeah, because they taped low. Remember, you pushed
and
high and taped low.
They come in, but they didn't care. You know what I mean? If you had, I'll give Jack credit. Jack was pretty good at that.
Yeah.
He would take the. First of all, he would like get it all wet.
Yeah.
And he would take the string and on the glove,
cross it
and
over
then-
top.
Yeah, and then rip it in. Yeah, and it does, and you could feel it on your hand. I
Yeah.
mean, it was like, man, yeah, it makes it tight.
Yeah, and then they push up and tape down, and it pushes all that horsehair back, and they're getting. And when you hit somebody, you can feel it through your knuckles.
Here's a girl I went to school
Kelly?
with, Kelly Newberger.
Yeah.
I followed your career. How you doing, Kelly? First of all, and I do remember since grade school. Do you still talk to Ray Mancini? No, I don't. Only on special occasions. Would you say your best? Who would you say your best match was? It was, I had a handful of them where I got to put them all in the same. Obviously Hopkins, Martinez, Taylor. Going into it, I still got to say Taylor just because of the fact that I lost to Hopkins, but Taylor also beat Hopkins twice. Taylor was a glorified amateur who had a bronze medal in the Olympics also to go with the world champions, and he beat a guy who set records at middleweight. I would have to say him, and it's not being biased because I beat him. But there's a lot of other guys. It's hard, when you put it, you say a Bernard Hopkins, who's a Hall of Famer, and just all the accomplishments that he had.
But that wasn't your best fight.
It wasn't my best
Your best
fight,
fight was
but-
Taylor, right?
Yeah, but
You know what? though?
actually, best match I could even go with Edson Miranda.
I was gonna say that Miranda. You looked at your best against Miranda. I thought.
I don't think I.
don't?
No, I think I was just one.
You would
very
know.
One,
You would know better than me. I would just say when you fought Miranda, the way you were moving and you were bouncing, you looked really good.
no, I wasn't actually. I hadn't bounced that much. I thought I was more one dimensional.
Really?
But that's what we trained for.
Yeah.
We trained to back him up.
Yeah. And you know where else you look good at? Bronco McCart. I thought you looked really good against Bronco
I was
McCart.
comfortable in that fight.
I just thought, oh my God. But Brandon says, do you think Mayweather is as good as his record reflects, or do you think he won a few that shouldn't have? I think he's one of the greatest fighters ever lived.
I think he won one that he shouldn't have.
Castillo?
But listen, he did his thing and he came back and he beat Castillo handily. No, I don't. And as much as I didn't like Mayweather, I mean, I put that to the side now, and I think that was more of marketing. Mayweather, what he did in his career was just extraordinary. He beat guys, and he beat them handily, soundly. It wasn't even a close fight.
I thought he lost to Maidana in the first fight.
That could have been. And De La Hoya was close enough. I still think Mayweather won that. I thought he won.
I had Mayweather winning that fight by like 1 or 2 rounds.
Yeah, see, I thought Mayweather pulled it out and won by a couple rounds.
Yeah, at the end.
But for him still to go, what's going on, Marcus? Still for Mayweather to go undefeated and do what he did against the opponents, and you can't knock it. And I don't want to hear people say, well, they were all past their prime. Listen, but you still beat them. Because people that know boxing in that fight know that there's a really small window in boxing, and anything can happen, especially when you're fighting that caliber, whether they're over the hill or not. You're fighting that type caliber fighters. and Mayweather to go in there and do what he did against him, and he's definitely. I don't have him number one greatest of all time. I have Sugar Ray Leonard.
I don't have him number one, but I see he's
going
up there.
back on that. But if somebody did say they thought Mayweather was number one,
Couldn't argue.
I could not argue that with them. I wouldn't argue it with them, and I would tell them, you know what? That's a very good pick. That's a very good choice.
Carlos says, what about Mayweather and the whole PED and IV scandal? Why does nobody ever talk about it? Because really nobody knows.
Well, and also it goes, it's a two-way street. Of course that, guys like Pacquiao, Canelo will get destroyed for it. And Mayweather, they'll be thrown out the window. It's not a big deal with that, right? Am I right about that?
Nobody cares.
It was big enough. A lot of people heard about it.
Oh, yeah.
Why was he getting the IV? Now, IVs do happen. If you're having a hard time making weight, that's what was fishy. People go on IVs because you're dehydrated. I had to against Martinez, but it was also medically proven with the commission and everything else. They knew the trouble of me making weight. So, yeah, they allowed it.
Yeah. But
for him, the guy who wasn't struggling to make weight at that weight class actually was moving up or staying at a weight higher. He didn't drop a weight class. That was kind of, but it's not a big deal, and it's not nothing to kind of like bring up to take away from this guy from his career.
Well, Leon, I was part of that camp for Maidana and Floyd. I was there for the first fight. I actually sat right at the ring just for that fight, and it was crazy because when Maidana landed his punches, they sounded like gunshots had went off. He hit that hard, and he hit Mayweather so hard. And the thing is, I could not believe Mayweather took those punches.
Yeah.
He knocked out Mayweather's tooth in that one at the tour. What?
Yeah, shit. I mean, okay, well, just not even Maidana though. But look at some the times he did get rocked in his career.
Yeah.
Those were shots that would have knocked pretty much anybody out.
Pound for pound, any welterweight in the world will tell you this. Shane Mosley was one of the hardest punchers in welterweight history. Mm-hmm. And he hit Mayweather, and 99.99% of everybody else would have been knocked out with that shot. Cold, and Mayweather took it. And I think Mayweather took those shots because of his conditioning. I think his conditioning is what saved him.
Absolutely. Ooh.
What?
Well, first Joel says Zuniga was a good one. Yeah, it was, Joel. Very good one.
Santa Cruz is just too little, Dylan.
I think so.
Santa Cruz versus Tank. Tank's a big guy, man. He's 160. And he comes down in weight. Santa Cruz
Javante?
Yeah, Javante's the one that walks around at 160.
He's so short, man.
Yeah, but he looks like a little ball, doesn't he, until he cuts weight? Mm. Yeah.
Brandon, I said, what's Sugar?
Sugar, Mayweather's prime or Sugar in his prime? Oh, Mayweather beat Sugar. Is he talking about Sugar Ray Leonard?
That's what I'm asking.
Mosley. Oh, I think he's asking Sugar Ray Leonard. I would say Sugar Ray Leonard beats Mayweather, kicks Mayweather's ass.
It'd be a good one. I definitely got Sugar Ray Leonard, but I don't know about kicking his ass, but I think it'd be a great fight. I think Sugar Ray Leonard outpoints him. I think when Mayweather does that shoulder tuck and is on the ropes, that SugarRay Leonard is going to land because of his superior hand speed.
Leonard's output was a lot for Floyd to deal with.
That's what I'm saying.
And the way that you combat a shoulder roll is what? Volume.
And you hit here.
And awkward punching, awkward angles and off timing punches beat the shoulder roll.
And Joe, I gotta disagree with you. I think Lomachenko is best defender of all time.
Oh, of all time?
One of them. Well, it's too early to say that. Yeah. Let's see. But if he finishes his career the way it's going,
I would say, what about if you're gonna go with all time? I would say what about if you're gonna go back, Willie Pep or Wilfred Benitez?
Yeah, but them guys they got hit too though.
Benitez was a fuck. Benitez was you couldn't hit Benitez solid, man.
Yeah, but I mean honestly, let's stay. I did speak early on Lomachenko, but I mean besides Linares, who really? I mean, how many times in a fight have you seen him? Yeah, well, I don't want to hear that one shot. That
no. What I'm saying is though, but look at the resume of Benitez compared to what Lomachenko has fought so far. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying
you fight who's there.
I retracted it. I said it's too early. Yeah. Way too early to say that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Willie Pep. The problem with Willie Pep, Esteban, is nobody really seen Willie Pep. I mean, other than black and white footage. And then you had Loche. You remember Loche?
No, I don't.
You've never seen Loche?
No.
Look up at that dude's defense. Just look it up. Look it up.
Yeah, but go. Okay, I will. You gotta remind me on that,
bro. There's nobody like him.
Willie Pep was. Yeah, he was sick. You know, I mean, some of these guys, I don't know. There's a lot of great ones to throw in there defense wise. Okay, you can still throw James Toney in there.
James Toney, definitely. Winky Wright didn't get hit much. Winky Wright was not a defensive guy. He wasn't a defensive specialist.
His defense wore you down.
He was not what you would consider a defensive specialist. Winky Wright was a counterpuncher. Winky Wright fuck you up.
Just guards up.
High guard.
And
he lets you punch yourself out.
Exactly. His defense tired you out.
Yes. You can't hit. Yeah,
Mayweather got hit.
Mayweather can be hit. Nicolino Lachey. That's who Chris said. And he was a defensive master. Pernell Whitaker. And you know what?
I'm saying. The name is D. It goes a long way.
Let me tell you my take on Pernell Whitaker.
De La Hoya had good defense.
He did, but it wasn't like the same kind. It was defense.
No, it was. He kept that hand out. He was hairy, he picked him off.
Azuma Nelson had a defense. Gabe Ruelas. I mean, guys like, but let me tell you about Pernell Whitaker. Me and Kelly, we've talked about Pernell. Pernell Whitaker had a great defense, but he did not have a great defense. He was great at slipping punches.
Yeah.
But a definition of a defense is making you miss punches and countering.
Making you pay.
And what did Pernell Whitaker not do?
He got himself out of position. He moved too far out and was never, I mean, not all the time, but he was never really in position to counter back.
He was not.
And if he would have been, pound for pound, probably.
Yes, but Pernell Whitaker would move 2 feet out of the way to slip a jab. And if you move 2 feet out of the way and your opponent moves back, now you're 5 feet away.
Exactly.
You're never in position to land again.
That's why they say inches and angles.
Yep.
You want to move just enough to where you're in distance to make a counter.
Yeah,
he was the name of the game.
Yes, and he was. Pernell Whitaker had to always reset and keep resetting over and over again because he was so far out of position, and that's what hurt him. He would have had an easier time with Oscar if he didn't throw himself out of position.
Yep.
Now, you know who else had a great defense that you don't know? Meldrick Taylor, man.
I can't agree with that. I've watched a lot of his fights, and you want to go back to who maybe had the fastest hands?
Meldrick.
I would have definitely put him in the top.
You know who else I would say?
3.
Naseem Hamed. Had great defense. Had great and fast hands.
He did. But I would say now Meldrick Taylor in the category, you could actually put him at that time there for a while there. He was the fastest guy that anybody ever seen in the ring.
Yeah, he scared people.
Defense, he was a brawler. He was a Philadelphia Fire dog. I mean, he threw those fast punches, but he left his head right there to get hit. And we seen it against Chavez.
Yeah, that's true. And Brandon Latimer says, Ghost, what would be your dream match if you could fight anyone in your prime versus them in your prime?
I guess now because of the name notoriety, I would have to say Triple G.
Andre Ward too?
Yeah, I would like Andre Ward.
I think you'd have made more money with Andre Ward, huh? You think so?
No, Triple G. Well, I don't know.
Which fight would have been easier?
I think Triple G.
I think you would have had an easier time with Triple G too.
Absolutely.
I hadn't heard Chris said I hadn't heard inches and angles in a long time. That's because Kelly's old school. But it's true.
It is.
What do you think of Jermaine Taylor's current state of mind? Michael Mika McLean wants to know. I mean, I personally can't comment on it. I don't know.
On Jermaine Taylor?
Yeah.
Hey, stuff happens, man. We don't know the medical situation. That shit's real, that CT, and that's not my place to really talk on it. I just hope everything. Jermaine's a solid dude. Truly does got a big heart.
Yes.
And just
I wish him the best.
I do too. So that's not my place. Really.
Chris Bird did have a good defense, King. You're right. You are absolutely right. Roger Foley says, "Hi, gentlemen. Glad to see you on. Hi, nice to see you." Steve says, "Taylor win or loss was never the same after
Absolutely,
Chavez."
Steve. It was. I think that fight, everything. His spirit was left in that ring. That fight.
Well, we talked to. I talked to Richard Steele probably 9 years ago at a fight. We were talking to him. And we were asking about that fight. I know he gets asked 100,000 times, like you being asked about Taylor over and over. But he said when Chavez hit him, every time he hit him, he'd hear bones break. He would hear bones break in Meldrick Taylor's face. And I'm thinking, why he's saying that? Then why didn't you stop it, motherfucker? Yeah. If you hear bones breaking, like cheekbones and jaw breaking and what the nasal cavity break, and you're not stopping it. But he was talking about Chavez was hitting so hard that he kept hearing bones break in his face. Mm. But I guess Meldrick Taylor wasn't showing that he was hurt enough to stop.
Dude, and he was fighting. That stoppage on that fight. That's still one that.
But He
I
said he
think that-
didn't
I think-
hear it. He didn't hear the click. You know, he didn't hear it.
Well, first of all, at that time they had the big red light in the corner.
Yeah.
And they showed that fight over and over,
Yeah.
and that was on.
Yeah.
And listen, that red light was like it was right here.
Yeah.
In his face, the way he was facing.
Yeah.
First of all. Second of all, you are an experienced, at that time he was still experienced, an experienced trainer. And in a fight like that, or a referee, and in a fight of that magnitude, that, you know what I mean by that? Like, that actually took, that was.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be that guy to really put, because shit happens, don't get me wrong, and I could have been the same.
I had Meldrick winning the fight.
Yeah, I could have been a referee and done that, and I wouldn't. You know what I mean? You're thinking for the safety.
Yes,
I understand. At the same time, I think that took everything from Meldrick Taylor. A war like that, I think that if you give him and just the decision, not even the punches, just give him the decision of the victory. The difference that would have probably made in the rest of his life.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And stop him literally with 2 seconds left.
Yeah,
that's. I don't know. It's horrible.
Sergio says Taylor suffered mental retardation. I don't know about that.
No.
But Sergio's always like in on the personal things with fighters. He loves digging at personal things with fighters. I don't know about that. You know, shit happens in life, you know, and good or bad. Yeah. I mean,
and a couple of them I backed, Jermaine. A couple of the incidents I backed besides the last.
The one before last, that was his what? His stepson acting like an asshole.
No,
18 or living in his fucking house, starting shit.
No, that you're thinking of a Tarver.
Tarver, yeah.
No, the one where he shot his cousin. I mean, you had a beef going on, like a straight up beef.
Yeah.
A fight, and the cousins. It said he was gonna bring him and his buddies were gonna come back to shoot Jermaine Taylor.
Yeah.
And they came into his house.
Yeah.
They got shot. What's wrong with that?
Chris is right too. Lou Duva cost Meldrick Taylor that fight. He said he hollered at Taylor and concentrated on Lou instead of looking at Steele. And there's so much that went into it. It was a perfect storm that night, you know?
It was. And that's why, I mean, it's a horrible situation, a horrible thing that happened in that fight.
He suffered mental retardation. I saw an interview with Taylor and he couldn't add 2 + 2. Did they ask him what 2 + 2 was in that interview? Because that'd be a weird interview to ask. Yeah. Hey, Jermaine Taylor, what's 2 + 2?
Divided by 2.
You know what though? Let's be honest, man. I mean, like I said, shit happens in his career, and these fighters don't owe fans shit. They don't owe you a fucking thing. They're out here, and they're making a living, and they're providing you entertainment. And what else can you ask of them?
Well, thanks, Brandon. We appreciate it. Yeah, I know, man. I hear you on that.
You also need to win that round.
Yeah, but Carlos, there was. I understand that, but. You kind of, again, what I was saying, and I'm not putting all the blame on Still. It was a situation I don't think anybody would have been in. The light came on. I think that at 10 seconds, the light comes on, and you know it was a knockdown.
Yeah.
And so you know up here, like, it was a 10-second, and you know that, all right, it took him 8 seconds. You know there's 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And again, nobody was in that situation to make that call. Yeah. And just the way it ended was horrible, though. It did change a life, I believe.
It changed 2 lives, I think.
And I wouldn't want to put that evil on Richard Still, but
it said Esteban's a question to both of you. Who gave you the talk when you got into boxing, explaining that it's the hurt game? Was it family or trainer? What about you, Kelly?
Well, both. I mean, it actually is just being around. You hear, I had guys like Cameron Duncan who had numerous world champs. You witness it. From just being around all the years, even in the amateurs, you have pros training in the same gym. You pick it up. I mean, you know it's not. And then actually halfway through your career, you're like, damn, what did I choose?
No, nobody really explained it to me. You just know it. I mean, it's just something when you get in there for the first time and you actively spar, you know it's painful. It fucking hurts. I mean, there's no way around it. I remember being 8 years old, and I remember the first time getting hit in the face. I remember what that felt like. I've never been hit in the face in my entire life, And I remember nose bleeding. But
you'll find out what type of
you're going to find out
who you are.
Yeah, when you're crying, they tell you to get back in the ring. Yeah. You have a guy like the Big G tell you to get back in the ring. He don't give a fuck if your nose is bleeding. You know what I mean? They wipe your nose and get back in there. And then look at this. When you're that age and you have guys like Robert Garcia that's a kid too. He's only 2 or 3 years older, Yeah. You're watching him, and you're watching a guy like Fernando Vargas, who's a year older. You're watching these guys. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That you're watching these guys as a child too. That's a great example, man.
Yep.
And I don't think anybody worked harder than Fernando Vargas or Robert
No,
Garcia in the ring.
that's what I'm saying. You learn, and you had more people to pick from than I did, obviously.
Yeah.
But
look
Eddie-
how that turned out. You became world champion.
Yep. Man,
But,
we got to wrap.
yeah,
up
we
here
got it.
real soon.
Jeff said, "Who's going to test Mikey?"
Do you want to answer to Eddie?
Do you want?
Sivas?
Yeah, you want to answer, Jeff? Who's going to test Mikey Garcia?
I think Lomachenko,
Lomachenko, yeah.
or I think if the Spence fight
Or Crawford.
happened. Crawford, Spence.
Eddie says 2000, 2007, 2008 Kelly versus 2010, 2011 Chavez Jr. prediction. Both undefeated coming off their biggest wins. Pavel against Taylor, Chavez coming off the win against Andy Lee. No, there was no, I believe there's, in my opinion, humbly, Chavez Jr. was not that good. Chavez Jr. hit hard. I'm not saying it because Kelly's sitting here. I'm just saying that Kelly would have ran through Chavez Jr. It would have been worse than what Canelo did to him.
I think so. All right, I'm going to answer one more question for the ghost. Who punched you feel during your career that really disconnected your brain and body? Fucking Miranda.
Sergio said, "You guys are big fucking dicks, dudes. You guys risk your life for our entertainment," and it's true. They do, and they risk it for to make a life for their family that work in the factory is not going to. And nothing wrong with working in the factory or serving in the military, but this is a way of life.
Anybody that works, I mean, work is work, but there's just there's a little difference in how you come home.
Boxing, yes, boxing's high risk, high reward, isn't it?
Exactly.
You got a question from Sergio Kelly. Who and what punch did you feel during your career that really oh, you already answered that.
Yeah.
Kelly Merch Jr. Oh, definitely. Thank you, Kelly. I would have to say kept beat by 10th round KO.
Well, thanks, Eddie.
Thank you. Chavez, a lazy stoner, bad name, bad dad, hard work. Bad name for dad. Yeah, it's a war. Miranda hit that hard. Miranda was the triple G of the early 2000s.
He was.
He had 2 knockouts of the year, right?
He fought the guy who had no neck in Abraham and
blasted him out.
Dismantled his jaw and 13 screws.
Joe said, "Do you take PEDs?" I do. I don't know.
Who's
about
that
Kelly.
for? Joel? Me? No, James does.
I do, not Kelly. I take that Russian auto injector 2000.
I just take Flintstone vitamins, man.
Joe, you were at the gym with me the other day. You saw me tossing up that 265 in the Smith machine. So really, it was 180. You don't count the bar, do you, on the Smith machine?
Sergio, you're right. I never was. Never was. And even in a Hopkins fight, I really thought by like the 7th round how nice it would be just to quit.
Oh.
But
Joel said, "James, LOL." Yeah.
Yeah, but Sergio, I got KO'd and my heart was too big.
Kelly keeps talking shit. I'm a KO him right now. After the show.
Right.
After the show.
I got cherry hot fist on a barbecue those ribs.
Cherry hot cherry hot flavor.
I put them up so.
Do you remember that candy called Cherry Clan? Do you remember that candy? Do you remember that candy, Justin? Cherry Clan? It came in little boxes and it was like really racist. It had little Chinese people on there with their little Chinese eyes and a little tiny Chinese hat. You remember those?
What was it called?
Cherry Clan. If you look at the box, it was really racist.
Yeah. Was it the same? They come in the same little boxes like
Red Hots.
Red Hots
Yes.
and lemonade.
Yeah,
Or lemon heads.
yes.
Lemon heads.
And you could blow in the box and make a whistle.
Absolutely.
Do you remember?
They used to sell them down at Gibson Field with Little Redmond.
Yeah, but the box was racist. Do you remember it had little Chinese
Yeah.
eyes and little hats on there? You don't think about that shit, man.
But
And, yeah, they used to call, in Russia, they call Kelly Dr. Iron Fist, don't they?
They Russian.
But yeah,
I still like that though. Cherry hot fist.
I think we had a good show today,
Barbecue
man.
those ribs.
What do you think? I think we had a great show today.
I thought it was really good.
Hey, how much time? What time is it, Justin? How much time we got?
Well, thank you, Joel. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, we got 2 minutes on the USA boxing thing. A little commentary on the USA boxing thing. Remember we were talking about that?
Because you're notorious for the ending of a show to
Okay.
get out. Like,
We don't have to do it now. We'll
no,
do it next week.
Let's do it.
No, we don't have to.
No, let's do it.
Where do you rate Cautious Zoo?
No, don't answer the question.
He's mid pack.
Michael, we're going to tap into USA boxing real quick. It's actually, we should get it off. Go ahead, because you read more into it, and then I'll follow into it.
I have been reading from a friend of mine on his page about USA boxing.
No, Sergio.
About USA boxing and things like that. And a friend of mine and his friends, the coaches, they want to start some kind of coaching coaching panel to overthrow USA boxing, basically. You know what I mean? They want to pick the 7 best coaches in the country. But here was my thing. How the fuck do you know who the 7 best coaches are? You don't.
You don't.
For every great coach out there that I think's great, 10 other motherfuckers are gonna say that coach sucks dick, right?
And listen, legitimately, there's some shitty trainers.
Oh my God, but this. If you are not happy with the way USA Boxing runs things, that's fine. But trying to run a coup to overthrow USA Boxing is totally ignorant, and all you're doing is you're playing with the powers that be. That's gonna really fuck you over.
Absolutely. First of all, yeah. And if you got a young kid that's in a program,
their kids are in the program,
or especially highly ranked in the program.
There's a couple of them in that program.
Yeah, that it is stupid. I don't know if it's part of this new trend, 2018. The movement type thing going on, where everybody wants to make a movement and do this, do that.
Yeah,
it's stupid. Listen, USA Boxing is a fantastic program. There may be some politics in it, but there's politics. You're not ever going to get around it in any sport, any event, and it's just the way it is. And you're not going to create your own little panel, and you're not going to have your own little trainers, and you're not going to run a program, an amateur program, better than USA Boxing.
And the thing is this. If you get down, like they want to say, they always use the word grassroots. We want to do grassroots program. No. If you want to get down to it, all it is, it's a bunch of trainers that didn't get picked for the national team that are showing sour fucking grapes. That's all it is. They're being bitches because they didn't get picked for the national team. And now they're bitching about somebody from Team Ireland coming over and running our heading our USA Boxing. So the fuck what?
Great. Let's have a little international. It only helps USA Boxing to do that.
Do you know how many of our coaches go over to Russia and Japan? Didn't Lars Anderson, one of the strength, go to Russia to work on the national team? There's nothing wrong with that. And if you want to get on the national team, do the right thing to get on the national team. Don't make a shit wave where you're hurting your kids. You're hurting the kids in the program, because USA Boxing, maybe not them higher up, but there are people that will make sure that your kids do not get past that Olympic trials or those box offs, no matter how well they do.
And let's just go on this too, guys. Look at USA Boxing, the talent and what came out of that program, and gave all the fans these phenomenal pros. So
all of them,
obviously, right?
Yeah.
So it's horrible to see that, and it's horrible to see somebody go against it and do that to a program. And I'm not kissing the USA Boxing.
No.
Like I said, I got screwed in the Olympic trials again, and it was obvious that I won that fight. But I was not mad over it, because you know what? I also learned, thanks to USA Boxing, I also won some very important national titles that helped my pro career, thanks to USA Boxing. I've met great people through USA Boxing, and it's, for you going there because something didn't go your kid's way, not even your way, your kids. I understand it's your kid.
But
you're going to hurt them in the long run.
It's not about the kids at this point. It's about their egos.
Their ego.
It's about their ego being hurt because they
living their dream through their kid too.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And
you see it in Pee Wee football.
And I'm not
see
talking
that at your local high schools.
Right. Agreed. I'm not talking shit, because I said it right there on the page. And the minute I said what I said here on that page, they're like, "Oh, it's not about ego. You're just." I said, "Look, man, I'm just trying to tell you that And I'm like, but the guy that's running it, that's doing the work, I like him. I just think I think those coaches are using him as a patsy. Do you know what I mean? Because he's not an experienced trainer. He's not an experienced guy in boxing per se. Yeah. So these other coaches are using him to put their word out as a patsy.
And whatever happens to them because of this, whatever USA Boxing does, it's their fault.
And I'm gonna be the first guy that says, "I fucking told you."
Exactly.
You mess with the bull, you're gonna get the horns.
Exactly. And I don't even blame USA if they did.
Nope.
I wouldn't.
Nope. But hey, great show. And that being said, that was a great commentary. Yep. Thanks, Kelly.
You're welcome, man.
Thank you.
Anytime. Thank you. No, it was a really good show. We will see you guys. Go to the YouTube, subscribe, share. Mainly subscribe, share,
and like,
and ring that little bell for James.
Ring the fucking bell for me. Ring that bell. Ring the bell.
I'd like to thank Justin, our sponsors. Title. Don's Automotive. Get your money, clothing. Yep. Get your money, clothing.
They need to start.
In my gym.
They need to start giving us some fucking apparel.
Yeah, right.
We need to get some apparel out of Get Your Money. You guys need to Hey, there's my cousin Stephanie.
Okay.
But yeah,
Have a good one, guys.
We'll see you guys Tuesday. If you have any questions, hit us up on the inbox or on the show. We'll ask questions, answer your questions. And thanks, Dylan. Thank you, Esteban. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We can't do this show without you.
Stay tuned. We'll be back next week.
We will be back next week after these messages.
We'll be right back.